friends, it is Michelle with Sweet Pea Farm NY.
We finally have
A non-rainy day. It's amazing. We have had so much rain in upstate New York, it's insane. There's lots of standing water. But today it's sunny.
these babies are still in the barn because they're too small to be outside unattended, so still inside. These guys are happy out here, but I'm worried about their feet because there's so much standing water, so we have to be really careful. There's just so much water. Lots of rain, huh, girls? Not today. Nice day today. So these are Dina's twins. And if you can see, the little girl in the back has a little wrap on her neck because she spent the afternoon at the hospital yesterday, or at the vet clinic. She was kind of on death's door. We didn't think she was going to make it, but she's doing way better now. But she still has a catheter in for IV meds, so that's why her neck looks wrapped. These are the apple trees I got for Mother's Day. This big tall one is a Fuji apple tree. And this one with the beautiful blooms on it already is a Gala. And we got these at Walmart, at one of the local Walmarts for like $24.99. And I thought that they were really beautiful trees. So I'm gonna go check out some of the other Walmarts nearby to see if they have other varieties that look this good, because these are nice looking trees for that price. So I don't know if you can see back there is my beehive. It's still got the nuke box sitting next to it because when I moved the frames over from the nuke, it was quite an experience. So I'm nervous to go back and get the empty nuke box to return to the apiary that I bought my nuke from. But I'm gonna do it eventually, hoping that I did everything right and the bees are busy in the hive making honey. But so this is the hive box that Eva and I built, and then the white box next to it is the nuke box, and they're back in a corner that it's close enough to the garden, which is what I'm standing in, but not somewhere that like we go over, like where the kids play or anything. Like it's kind of, the sheep might graze around it, so I'm going to put a little fence in front of it. It's in a corner of fencing already, so yeah, there's our beehive. Hopefully we're successful with that. Hopefully Michaela takes that over so I don't have to, but these just make me so happy. Like, I know it may be a while before I have fruits, but just the fact that they're so beautiful is happy enough for me. So these first two beds, I got compost at Lowe's for them. And these beds are planted, like you can see the radishes coming up there. Chloe and I planted those last weekend. This one has peas on the edge, and I'm going to put a trellis over to that bed for them to climb on, and then I'm going to put cucumbers on the edge of this bed for them to climb up the trellis. And then I've got like some greens and stuff planted in this, like some colder hardy stuff, because our last frost date is not till the 20th. So then when I was at Walmart, I found even cheaper compost, and that was like $1.50 for a bag. And I kind of feel like it looks nicer than, like this is the I'm trying to get them both in one shot. This is the compost that I originally got from Lowe's for like $2.10 a bag, and this is the Walmart Earth Grow organic compost. So I kind of think that looks a little bit nicer. So I'm gonna go back and get some more of that for sure. I still have 8 bags over there because I'm going to plant the pumpkins and sunflowers and everything in it. So I was happy with that. I have some marigolds out here already that Chloe gave me for Mother's Day, and she planted those. So that one's a little droopy, but it's gonna come back. And then these, I also got at Walmart, these tomato plants, and they were already outside. So we planted them the day I bought them, and they're an heirloom tomato called Mr. Stripey, and they look like they're gonna be really pretty. So those were like $2.40 at Walmart. And I don't have these kind of tomatoes, so there's going to be a little trellis thing in here too for the tomatoes. And I have several Cherokee Purple, Atomic Grape, and there's another kind of tomato I started inside. But those are all more on the dark or purple variety, so kind of cool to have a brighter colored thing for a tomato in here. So, but I'm really liking it. I feel like this compost looks really good. Like, Looks really healthy, and the tomatoes seem happy in it. The marigolds will be, I think. But I planted those tomatoes deeply. I pruned off the bottom branches. I just watched Jess from Roots and Refuge do a video about planting tomatoes, and we tried the egg thing. So I put an egg down in there in the hole and cracked it a little bit when we planted these tomatoes, and then buried them way up to like the top parts and pruned off a bunch of the bottom branches. So hopefully we have some really beautiful, healthy tomatoes. They say the deeper the roots, the more the fruits. So hopefully that works out. What are you doing, Ivaru? You eating some orange in the garden?
So if you're up north, like I'm in zone 4A, then you're probably antsy like me to get your plants in the ground and get started. And I literally am out here like weeding the beds that aren't even planted yet, just because I just want to spend time out here. I'm just so excited, and I do have the pretty trees and the pretty tulips to look at, and Eva likes being back here, and it keeps her kind of confined anyway because we're all fenced in. So I'm gonna go weed my garden that doesn't even really need weeding, but I just want to be out here.
There's so many worms in this healthy soil. Every time I weed, you can just see the worms wiggling.
So I just wanted you guys to have a quick update on what's going on the farm and see what's happening and see my beautiful trees I got for Mother's Day. We had a really rough day yesterday. I kind of showed you in the barn. That little lamb went down quickly. Unfortunately, we had lost Michaela's little doeling goat on Monday morning. Sunday night she looked a little off. We brought her in and tried to treat her as best we could. I talked to my vet Monday morning, and I didn't have a car Monday to bring her in anywhere, of course, and my vet was not able to get out to my place. And like within that morning, you know, like we were working on something for later on in the day, and within an hour the goat had passed away. So that was very sad. And then a couple of lambs that I'd been treating for what I thought was coccidia had not been reacting properly to the medication that they were receiving. So I spoke to my vet again, who's really phenomenal and very kind about like how reachable she is, and talked to her yesterday and made plans to bring the lamb in and the deceased goat for some testing to see if we could decipher if this had any link or if something was going on to prevent something spreading like wildfire through my flock. So we had already separated the lamb and with her mom, Dina is her mom, and her brother, and we took them in, and by the time we got to the vet, the lamb looked like she was dying. She was just flat out on her side, making little moaning noises. Very sad. So we got some blood work from her, and we sent in blood work and fecal samples along with samples from the deceased baby goat to Cornell, which is the closest vet science lab, and it went out last night at 4:30, so they received the samples this morning, and this afternoon I will hear back from them about what they found, what I should be treating more specifically for. On a good note, we did get the little lamb that looked like she was dying after we finally got a catheter in her very collapsed, dehydrated veins. She perked right up with lots of intravenous medications and fluids. She came home and went to nursing right away. I administered more fluids. We left the catheter in her to make medicating easier, and administered more fluids and medications last night and again this morning, and she's getting really feisty and difficult to handle, which is great. It's a great problem to have. So hopefully she is on the mend. It is such a joy when things turn out that way, because so many times with small ruminants, by the time you find a problem, it's too late, like with the little goat. And I was super proud of my teenager, who it was her little goat that passed away, and she was able to help my vet and do some of the necropsy stuff with her. She wasn't like holding a scalpel or anything, but she was like right in there with her, helping and getting the samples ready for Cornell. So I was very proud of Michaela for handling it so well. I would have been a wreck at 16. I was trying to choke back tears myself because I thought this little lamb, who was Chloe's, was going to die, and I felt awful. You go through that whole like, why am I doing this? Oh my goodness, everything's gonna die. This is awful. And it's frustrating. Like, we lost that little goat. It's not cheap to take the animals to the vet. I'm very fortunate to have a small ruminant vet so close by that's willing to do the things that she does for me. Not everybody has that, so I'm super grateful, but it is not inexpensive. To send some of these things out costs money, plus just being there and having the treatment done. So there is, you know, pros and cons, but the glorious fact that that little lamb has bounced back so far, knock on wood, is what gives you hope and what makes you feel like you're doing the right thing. So I'm so super grateful to my vet over at Countryside Vet in Lowville, and hopefully that little lamb will be better, and hopefully when I get results this afternoon, it'll be something very easy to handle and not something super scary in the barn. You never know. Little lambs are just so susceptible to so many things. So that's why it's super important that when you have lambs and goats, you watch them closely so that you know when they're acting off, what acting off looks like. And the sooner you catch it, the more likely you are to be able to save them. So hopefully there's no more issues, and thankfully I have a whole arsenal of information and dosages and everything in my pocket now to address situations should they arise, but I'm praying that they don't, because it's really devastating to see little guys go down so quickly, and then, you know, trying to keep them alive, because it's very touch and go. So I'm grateful for that good news, but that's why the little lamb has the gauze and stuff on her neck, just to keep her mom from messing with her catheter while it's still in. So I've got to give her some more fluids tonight and continue some more medication, some vitamins, some thiamine and things to try and keep her on the mend. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, make sure that you click the subscription button and the bell below so that you can stay up to date with what's going on the farm, and have a great rest of your day, guys.